G'day guys. How you going? Can you all hear me? Yeah, beautiful. All right, well, we'll make a start then. So, yet again, we've been plunged into lockdown. So to cheer the spirits, we might have we're going to make some chocolate cake. Now, the chocolate cake we're going to make today, this is Jack, by the way. Jack's going to be helping out today. Now, Jack is responsible for all the fantastic cakes that we make here. He's without doubt one of the best cake or pastry chefs I've come across. He's superb. Okay, so he's gonna keep me out of trouble. So from here, what we're going to do today is make a thing called a chocolate Nemesis. Now, chocolate Nemesis came about in the, I'd say, early 90s and it came from a book called The River Cafe. The River Cafe is a very famous restaurant, very famous London restaurant, and it came with the title Chocolate Nemesis, and then underneath it, they said very, very boldly, the best chocolate cake in the world, which of course made every single chef say, oh, really? Because that's a big call. And I have to say, I've made this for years and years and years, and I reckon it is the best chocolate cake I've ever tasted. Whether or not you agree, you'll have to find out and make it yourself, hopefully. So we'll take it from there, okay? So it is literally, now have you all got the ingredients at home, or all got the recipe? Yeah? So it's a very, very, very simple recipe. 4 ingredients: chocolate, eggs, sugar, and butter. So it really is, but what it really does come down to is the quality of the ingredients on this one. I know that's a big spooky thing that a lot of chefs say. So realistically, the main ingredient here is your chocolate. So if you can get a good curvature, and curvature and chocolate are slightly different. Curvature is a little bit more bitter. Eating chocolate has generally got a lot more sugar in it, okay, and flavours obviously, and it's a lot softer. So it has different components in it that make it more readily to eat. Curvature is looks like chocolate, almost tastes like chocolate as well, but it's got a bit more snap to it and a bit harder, and it's better for cooking with. Cooking chocolate, curvature, very similar. The brand that we use is a brand called Calabo, which is that, and we're using their 70% cocoa mass or cocoa fat. Okay, so 70% I would recommend. Calabo is excellent. Valrhona is superb. That's probably the best that you can get on the market at the moment, Valrhona. Things like Cadbury's I'd avoid because that tends to be very sweet. Don't recommend Cadbury's at all for this sort of stuff. Okay, so to get the ball rolling, what you're going to need is literally the chocolate and the butter. We've just diced it up to make it easier for ourselves. The eggs we've already broken down, so that's just out of the shells. And I've got two lots of sugar. So in the recipe, we've listed it as 120 grams and 240 grams of sugar. That will become evident as we go along, okay? So first off, get your oven up to the right temperature. We've set 120 degrees on half fan. The next one is okay, so it's going to melt with butter and chocolate together. So that literally just chucks it in. Okay, put that over some boiling hot water. Don't let the bottom of the tin touch the water, because what you'll do is you can split the chocolate. Okay. Yes. Okay, so the 240 gram, the big one, goes into the water, into a pan with 250 ml of water. And all we're doing there is dissolving the sugar. Don't have to reduce it, boil it, or anything like that. We're just getting it into its liquid state. Okay, so it all mixes in together more easily. From here, we put all the, how many eggs? 6 eggs, and then 120 grams of sugar. And then we're just going to whisk the living daylights out so it's really light, fluffy, and smooth. Okay? Lining your tin. Okay, so we've just got a basic tin. What we're going to do is literally, we're going to butter it, like so, all around the sides, around the edges, and we're going to line it with greaseproof paper. Now, a really good hack with greaseproof paper. Got a rough kind of squares, and from here, fold it in half, in half, in half, in half. If you want to be really pretty about your circles, in half again. Okay? So you've got this kind of paper dart sort of looking thing. And from there, get a rough measurement of the tin. Now this is a little bit bigger than the tin itself. So I'm going to cut that. There you go, I don't need that bit. So cut that into a round. So you've all probably done that before, and that opens up and you make a little circle, okay? From here, if you run this under the sink and scrunch it up and make it wet, it is so easy to put into your tin like this. So literally what I've done is I've scrunched it up under water. You open it up, you shake off the excess water, pop that into your tin, and it fits in really easy. It sticks to the butter, and it's nice and flat. So that's a really good hack, okay? Perfect. Now from here, what we will do later on in the cooking process, once we've got all the cake mixture in it, we're going to cook this in a water bath. And what we mean by that is we've got a tray, we've got a tea towel underneath it just to stop it from burning or getting scorched on the bottom. And then we're going to fill it up with water to about this sort of level, okay? So as high as the cake. Now, again, another tip for this, which is really useful to know this end of the conversation rather than when you pull the cake out of the water. Extra protection, line your baking tin with 2 pieces of silver foil. Okay, as high as the edges, so your water won't go through the gaps of your tin. Does that make sense? Yeah, good. So that's now your tin ready to rock and roll. Okay, so it's all ready for the ingredients now. Okay. Over here, Jack is on. So Jack is busy melting the chocolate and butter together. All he's doing is stirring it to mix it in. That's no big special thing. Now, once you've made this cake a couple of times, and I've just discussed it with Jack earlier, I've been making this cake since, as I said, about the 90s, and I've never changed its flavour because it's been that good. I've been that impressed with it. But if you wanted to put some, I don't know, some brandy in there or some Frangelico, with Jack mixing it over with the chocolate and butter, this is where you put a couple of drops of your favourite liqueur in it, for instance. Or some coffee might be nice as well. Okay? And with coffee, don't worry about espresso because you're adding too much liquid to it. Instant coffee is superb in making cake making. No problem with that. Instant coffee, just a little bit of water just to dissolve it, pop that into your coffee mix. That's the way to go. Right, how do you look inside like that? Right. Okay, so we've got about a minute to go on the whipping up of the little batch of sugar and the eggs. Now, when the River Cafe first released their blue book, which was their first ever cookbook, the early editions had this recipe, and they forgot to put the eggs in. So apparently they'd have lots of people calling up saying, We tried to make the cake, but it's just not setting. So it's just a bit of trivia for you about book publication and checking your. About ready to go? Okay, so what we've got here is we've got literally that's the chocolate and butter, and it's literally just melted and mixed together so it's nice and even. Okay.
What's she using?
What he's going to do now is put the sugar, the melted sugar, and water. So that's the 240 ml of sugar, 250 ml of water in with the chocolate mix. Okay. So I've got the chocolate and the butter and the sugar and the water together now. Okay. You've still got an opportunity now to put if you want some booze or coffee in it or whatever flavour you like. Okay. So it's still got, it looks a bit grainy at the moment because the water's just got to get intermingled with the fat properly. So Jack, just stirring it through, just a couple of minutes to keep it going. So it's all melted together, but it's just stirring it through. Have a look now. Almost there. You can see it on the edges of the. Let me see if I can just show up. It's there. You can see it. I mean, it's not a very good close up, I don't think, but you can. Now I'm trying. No, you can't. It's just a little bit. It looks a little bit grainy. A little split almost, but it's not. This is why Jack does as well, because I get it all over myself. I'm not very good shopping chocolate. Right. So this is the thickness that we've got the sugar and eggs. Okay, so if I can just pour the whisk, just to hopefully give you a better idea. That's kind of what we're looking at, okay? And if you can see how I'm writing, so it's holding very well. Okay, so really, really whip it well. If anything, I can go, yes, no, okay? So that's the sort of thickness that you want to get it to. And literally all Jack's going to do now is combine that chocolate mix with the egg mix. Good to go? Before any of you are. So literally, he's now got the whisk on a very low speed. On number one, and he's literally just gently pouring the chocolate in a nice steady stream. Okay. So the reason he's putting it in slowly and gently is so that he's not knocking the air out. All the air that you put in those eggs by whipping them up, he's trying to keep that in as much as possible. Okay? If you're doing this at home with a whisk, that's fine. Try and use a nice big whisk and stir it in very gently, turning it over on the bottom. Have a look at that. Okay, so he's got all the chocolate in. He's just going to turn the speed up a little bit. We're now on number two, just to really combine it. Okay, it's looking reasonably fairly pale still on top. So he's just turning it over gently and a little bit more. And really just to blend it. There we go. Just to blend the chocolate in with the egg mixture. Good to go. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so he's not what he's saying there is he hasn't mixed it all in completely. There's still kind of a layer of the egg mixture on top, and what he's doing now is getting a spatula in and just turning it and combining it all over. Okay. And when you make this, dig down to the bottom of your bowl because you'll find there is some chocolate that is determined not to get mixed in. So keep looking and keep looking, okay? Okay, see how he's not being shy, a little gentle or too gentle. He's getting the whole mixture worked in together. Okay, and that's looking nice and combined and ready. So just a quick look again. That's there we go. That's the mixture now. Okay, ready to pour in. Okay, well, and literally goes in. All the ingredients. Now the beauty with these rubber spatulas is you can really clean out your pan and you get most of it in. People hate you, but they've got nothing to look at the bowl with. But it's very hard to do with that pan as well. So just a note on this as well. Over the years, now the recipe that you've got is saying bake it for 50 minutes. Okay? We actually have, over the years, we've taken this down to 35 minutes of cooking in our ovens. Okay? Now remembering it's chocolate, so it's going to set and taste nice anyway. So just be aware of what it's like after 35 minutes. So anyway, coming back to it. So we've got the, let's do this again. So we've got the chocolate batter in the tray, and now he's going to pour the water in. Yep. Now this is hot water because you don't want this. It should actually be boiling water. Okay. So you want to pour that in so that if you put cold water in and you put it in your oven, you've got to heat the water up before the cake starts cooking. Okay. So you get the water hot, so you're not having to do that. And we're good to go. Okay, so that's now going into the oven, okay? So it's 120 degrees, and we're going to put it in for 35 minutes. Now, in true cooking class style, here's one I made earlier, okay? So what we've done is we've let it cool down overnight. It's still in, and we've left everything in. Still got the shell around it. We've still got and the cake's all cooked and beautiful. Okay, it's shrunk just a little bit. All right. So from here, literally pull the shell off. There's a little bit of water on that. Okay, and then from here, so I'd recommend with this just a little knife, just to help it along a little bit. So and that chocolate Nemesis. Now it's going to be really hard to take this off the actual bottom of the tray. So what we do is turn it upside down. We use the bottom as the presentation of the top. I'll just get that off. Just to get the air in. It tastes really nice. Off right, perfect. And then once you lift the paper off, you got some. So that's basically what it is. It's a slab of chocolatey, moussey, cakey, dense loveliness. Okay, you've got your cocoa. No cocoa. And the way that we present this, is literally just to put a little bit of really dark bitter chocolate over it. Okay, and the way that we Where we going? We've got to. It's going to get sieve. Jack. Yeah, just use the big one. That's it. So we've got the really dark chocolate. So that is a very simple but very spectacular and luscious chocolate cake. Now, what we're going to be doing, we just had a chat about it this morning. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be making about 6 of these for the weekend for you guys to buy. If you don't want to have a go at making it yourself, or you want to test it before you make it, we're going to be making 6. Just go online through your usual suppliers and get one from us, okay? So before we do that, just want to cut a piece so you can see the internals. Now, I think a cake like this, you quite easily, because it's so rich, you quite easily take it. I'm going to do a Jamie for you. Have a look at, can you see the silkiness of that? That is just spectacular, okay? So I'm going to put that on there. So now I would literally just serve that with some sour cream or beautiful whipped cream, but that is magnificent. And just to prove it, if you could come here. This is Karen, who's been letting everyone in. That's for you. Okay. One team, one dream in this place.